As a new yoga teacher or recent graduate, especially during the year of 2020, what do you do right now when you can't go out and actually teach yoga like you had planned? I'm going to give you 4 action items, or 4 steps, 4 tips, 4 things you can do in this time besides actually teach your in-person classes that will help set you up for the future for when you can teach in person, or maybe you'll decide you don't even want to. I'm going to give you 4 tips. My name's Ashley, by the way, and I am the owner of Ash's Yoga Studio and founder of Ash's Yoga over at ashesyoga.com. So you can find me there. So let's get into those tips. I've got them right here in my notes. Number 1, this notebook. Number 1, practice. That's always going to be the very first tip. And it's not practice teaching, but practice yoga. Practice and keep doing the thing that you love and got into. And remember why you wanted to become a yoga teacher. And you do that by sticking with your personal practice, by staying disciplined, by getting on your mat, by coming back to your personal practice. Even if it's just, a 5-minute meditation in the morning, having something consistent is better than that just once in a while. It also will help keep you grounded and centered when you have something consistent in your life. And I hope that one of those things is your yoga practice and you come back to your mat frequently. That will be number 1, and you should always have that no matter what. So if you don't do anything else, if you just continue practicing yoga, you will be a better teacher for it in the future. Now you can come back and do these next 3 steps later. If you're ready and you're like, I'm practicing, I'm good, let's move on. Number 2 is to go back and review and study your yoga teacher training books, manual, notes, whatever it was, and go back and notice any maybe struggle areas that you had and take notes, maybe practice those things. You could film yourself, record yourself with just audio if you're working on your verbal cueing, refine some of your skills physically, your poses, really anything that's just going back to your yoga teacher training, looking to what you learned in the past to help you really solidify that knowledge that you learned. As you progress as a yoga teacher and a yoga practitioner, remembering that, coming back to the basics, yoga basics is one of the best things you can do. Always keeping a beginner's mind and coming back to the basics over and over and over again. Okay, number 3, continue your education. So instead of looking into the past at what you had learned and studying that, look forward into different topics that are of interest to you. So something that might be complementary to your yoga practice, or maybe it's a different yoga style that you've been interested in that you want to dive a little bit deeper into. A couple ideas might be something like trauma-informed yoga or inclusivity training, or a different idea might be essential oils, how to teach yoga with essential oils or just essential oils in general. Even things like astrology, or maybe it's all a completely different style, or maybe you want to focus on training as an athlete, you're a runner, something else. So something that could maybe complement your teaching or something that's more specific. So go and dive deep into more continuing education. There are so many courses out there now, online courses, mostly online courses, including my own. If it's something specific you need help with, there's probably an online course for it. And if there's not, there's probably a book for it. So you can go to Amazon or go to your bookstores or local booksellers and find a book about the topic that you're interested in. There's so much you can learn from a $15 paperback book. So reading book, audios, podcasts, courses, some are free, some are paid. You could spend thousands and thousands of dollars, or you could just look at different YouTube videos or podcasts every single day on the topic you want to learn. Okay, that does bring us to number 4, though, is the 4th tip I have for you. So practice, go back to YTT knowledge, continue your education with something else. Number 4 would be to set yourself up for your future. If you know that you do want to eventually teach in-person yoga classes and you want to be hired, or you want to start your own yoga business, or maybe even purchase a yoga studio or start a yoga studio, then you need some training in business. Even if it's just the tip of the iceberg, This is sort of like the continuing education, but geared towards more your career. So less about the yoga type stuff and more like, hey, you've got to get some business training in there. You've got to understand why you would set up an LLC compared to an S Corp, or why you would just stay a sole proprietor and not set up anything. Having a separate bank account. What are the tools that you could use for scheduling, for building a website? The difference between independent contractor and an employee. And you might actually have learned a lot of this stuff in your yoga teacher training, but there's always more to be learned with this. In yoga teacher training, you're required 1 hour of business training. That is not near enough information if you want to get a grasp on how to do all of this. Because it's not just business that you need to be aware of and liability insurance and all of that, it's also marketing. We all have to be better at marketing. And marketing is such a critical and crucial element in your yoga teaching journey. And it's something that a lot of us don't really want to do or have fun doing because you think of it as selling. But it's so important and so beneficial to learn a few of the basic concepts, like what social media should I be on? What should I post? Or how do I present myself? What color is best? Do I need a logo? Do I need a brand? What's a brand? How do I even name myself? Do I name myself? Anyway, there's so many questions that you could ask that a lot of them only you can answer, but some of them you can get some help with. And this is where I do want to bring up my course, Virtual Vinyasa Academy, which is just that. It helps with all the business behind the scenes. It's more like it's a course on like the overview of everything you would need to know as a new yoga teacher getting out there for the first time online and in business, where we dive deeper in our coaching calls and accountability, and I make a lot of tutorials on demand. So if you have a question about a specific something, I'll likely do a tutorial with it. So that's what I've been really enjoying doing, is actually helping with this setting up for your future. I'm a yoga studio owner, okay? Right? So I would be so much more likely to hire someone, or at least not hire someone, but to look at someone, to bring someone in the future who has all that set up. If someone contacted me, a cold contact, and they gave me their website, they told me that they had an LLC set up, they told me they already had liability insurance, and that they are set up to go with their yoga business, I would be like, great, come on in, do your demo, because I don't need to go, I won't worry at all about anything else because I hire independent contractors. And even if I am hiring employees, it's still really good to know that you are serious about what you do. And by setting up all that business stuff, I'd be able to tell that you are serious. You take this seriously. You take yoga teaching seriously because you do the work that a lot of people don't want to do. They'd rather show up, teach class, and leave. And you know, a lot of times that's nice, but moving forward, it's gonna get more competitive. It's gonna be a little harder. And I want to be there for you to help you get past the hurdle of it being challenging to get hired. And not just that, but I also want you to feel empowered by being able to make money on your own without having to rely on a studio or a gym or the place that you work. Instead, you can do it on your own, and I can show you how. So anyway, that's Virtual Vinyasa Academy. It is open for enrollment right now, and we're going to start a new group, a 6-week group, in fact, 6-week training calls and everything with that. Starting very soon, I'll put the dates down below, and I'll put the link down below. So if you want to join me in that, go down below. Keep up with your practice, build up your classes, your yoga teacher training, do some sequencing, do some class building, go through the hard stuff of the training, continue your education, and set yourself up for success in your yoga business. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. Make sure that you do subscribe or give it a thumbs up if you found this information helpful, and leave a comment and let me know how you're doing as a yoga teacher in this world right now. All right? Talk to you next time.